Good morning and welcome back to the Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto in the south of Spain for round 6 of the FIM CEV Repsol Championship. We've just had our opening race of the day, the Junior World Championship, which went in the way of Carlos Tatay, and now it's time, quite possibly, for a championship to be decided in the first of 2 European Talent Cup races. Izan Guevara has been the runaway championship leader with 5 consecutive victories in the European Talent Cup, and he starts this one from second on the grid as he looks to wrap up the 2019 series. Before the race gets underway though, let's remind ourselves of what happened, what feels like an age ago now, at Moto2 Aragon, where it was a double victory for your championship leader, Izan Guevara, but goodness gracious me, did he have to work for it. This was race number 1, the number 28 there, taking the early lead, but because of an infringement, he had to go through the long lap penalty, and he thought that that was his championship or his fight for the win over. No, that was not the case. Despite taking a long lap penalty, he came through to take the victory on the line, a superb drive out the final corner, and then he went on to back it up with another victory in race 2, despite pressure from a whole host of riders, as is normally the case in the European Talent Cup.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal round for the championship leader. There it is, the finish on race 2, just pipping the number 95 of Jose Rueda for that 5th win in a row.
Rueda came across the line, as you saw there, and held up the finger, indicating that he thought that he was the man that had taken victory, but it went the way of Guevarra by under a 1/10 of a second. 15 laps ahead of the European Talent Cup here in Jerez. Just under 4.5 kilometres in length, 5 left-handers and 8 right-handers for the guys to try and overcome. Starting from pole position, it will be one of the Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team riders, the man hailing from Sao Paulo in Brazil, Diogo Moreira, and these are conditions that the Brazilian is used to. Glorious sunshine here in Cádiz in Spain, 26 degrees centigrade ambient air temperature, with the track temperature just rising as we edge ever closer to midday here in Spain.
Yeah, conditions the Brazilians used to, but not sure about us Brits, Jack. I've had to just jog down pit lane in black jeans, which hasn't gone well for the old sweat patches, but we are ready for European Talent Cup race 1 here in Jerez. Stunning conditions, and the man on pole is this man, Diogo Moreira, the 15-year-old, 14th in the championship, as you can see there, on 31 points. A best finish of 6th, twice coming in Estoril race 2 and Valencia race 1. So couple of top 10s there for his season, 15th and 18th last time out in Aragon, so from pole position you can expect him to be improving, hopefully for his sake, on his best finish of 6th.
He started the first race of 2019 all the way back in Estoril from the front of the 2nd row of the grid. And there was an absolute nightmare, if you remember, for the Estrella Galicia squad when both Moreira and Rueda had to be wheeled off the grid before the warm-up lap started because they hadn't started the bikes and they couldn't get them going. So both of them had to start from pit lane. Hopefully no such issues today. Talking of no such issues, this man has had none whatsoever. A win, a win, a win, a win, and another win. 5 in a row prior to that run of 5 consecutive victories. Nobody in the European Talent Cup had won 3 on the bounce. Never mind 5. This man has been oh so dominant since the first round of the season, where he started it with a middling to average 10th and 8th place. But since then, nobody's got the better of the Cuna de Campeones, man. 5 victories in a row, a championship leader, 58 points. He is surely the man to win this European Talent Cup champion, bearing absolute disaster.
It really is his to lose, and he is the man of the moment. Lined up alongside him is this man, his teammate in the Cuna de Campeones setup, Daijiro Sako, the 15-year-old. 9th place in the championship, best of 3rd at Catalonia, and 4th last time out in Aragon. Couple that with his 4th in Valencia, so he has got podium pedigree and top 5 pedigree. So from the front row, you can bet he will be gunning for the podium. He's also a Red Bull rookie racer in 2019, best finish of 9th at Aragon. So Sako slowly but surely building his way up to a race win.
It's a great day, all in all, for the Cuna de Campeones squad, because their 4 riders start from 2nd on the grid, 3rd on the grid, 4th on the grid, and then we'll slowly and shortly get back to their final riders, who is still in a pretty strong position of 8th on the grid. So all 4 of their riders on the first 3 rows of the grid. This man, Juan Rodriguez, will front row number 2. The number 38 picked up a best result of 8th last time in Aragon, and is looking to go a little bit better here in Jerez by getting inside the fight for the top 6.
Yeah, he had a crashing moment with the number 38 at turn 6. Fast place to go down, so good to see him ready for the opening race in the European Talent Cup at Jerez, as we focus now on the Frenchman Lorenzo Felon.
Yeah, Lorenzo Felon running number 5 because his dad used to manage Johan Zarco. Amicable split, could you say? Let's not go into it.
Yeah,
hasn't been the best of year for Johan Zarco, but he still runs the number 5, does Lorenzo, having trained with him and been, well, really grown up alongside Johan Zarco. Another man that was in the Red Bull Rookies series, finished 5th in the series, incidentally, after 8 top 6 finishes. Finished in the top 6 8 times, but not once did he manage to get onto the podium. He's not managed to get onto the podium in the European Talent Cup either, so you could say he is well overdue a visit to Parc Fermé.
Yeah, he really is. He finished 5th at Jerez earlier in the season in the Red Bull Rookies, so top 5 pedigree there, so hopefully for his sake he can challenge for the podium, as we now see David Alonso. 4th place in the championship, a good year for the number 80. 3 podiums, a best of 2nd at Aragon. So he'll be hoping to at least finish on the podium, let's say, from the outside of the 2nd row, will David Alonso.
He's probably the only man that looks like stopping Izan Guevara from wrapping up the championship today, because his other championship riders are a little bit further down the field. We'll touch on them in a few moments' time. Meanwhile, let's tick off everybody else on the grid. Here's José Antonio Rueda, another of the Estrella Galicia junior riders. 4th in 2018 in the series, 5th so far this year with 63 points, having pushed Izan Guevara all the way last time out in Aragon, finishing, well, about half a 10th behind the number 28. He'll be hoping to end half a 10th in front of him today.
Yeah, lost out by the finest of margins last time out, and last year at Jerez in 2018 he did finish on the podium, so you can bet Rueda is gunning for another at least 3rd place finish in race 1 and maybe race 2 later on as well.
So thanks to the Despedigas, I don't know, what's your Spanish like, Elliot?
Well, as you know, it's not the best, thanks to Pozuelo.
So there's thanks going to someone anyway.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means, but let's see if those thanks can help Marcos Ruda, the final of the Cuna de Campeones squad rider, from getting into the podium hunt. He's already got one to his name in the wet weather of Estoril at the start of the season. Hasn't been able to match it since then. But that Cuna de Campeones squad, based out of the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia, but despite being on the travels here in Jerez, certainly finding themselves at home. All 4 riders inside the top 8 positions of the grid. A superb day for them.
Yeah, they've got a really good setup of young riders going on there, and hopefully we can see some of them making progress into the Junior World Championship sooner rather than later, and then into the World Championships, as we see British rider Fenton Seabright.
Says a message, just thinking of his dad, so best wishes to Fenton Seabright's dad, if he is just feeling a little bit unwell at the moment. Hopefully a good result from his son can put a smile on his face. A good qualifying position, not as good as what we saw. He actually started from the front row of the grid at the first round of the year in Estoril, where he finished 2nd in quite a dramatic race, where he actually came across the line on his backside as he collided with the eventual race winner Ivan Ortola. Hopefully no such drama today for the Brit, who's just finished the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Sorry, not the Red Bull Rookies Cup, the British Talent Cup series, as has this man as well, Jack Hart, the young Scot, just 15 years of age. There's Dad to the right. Now, as part of the Mark Keane KRP squad, he was running under the Wilson Racing banner, but just getting a little bit of help from Mark Keane, who's got a lot of experience in the British 125 series going back a few years, and before eventually moving across to this FIM CEV Repsol series in both the European Talent Cup and the Moto3 series as well. A number of good British riders having raced for Mark over the years.
Yeah, it's a really good foundation, is the European Talent Cup, for obviously Spanish riders, but also for the likes of Jack Hart and Fenton Seabright. Best finish of 21st, incidentally, for Jack Hart so far this season at Aragon, so he'll be looking to improve on that.
a first taste of the European Talent Cup for this man. The Australian Joel Kelso was part of the Junior World Championship, had a wild card there in Barcelona. Didn't particularly go to plan for him there. He's been taking part in the Italian Moto3 Championship there, but he's getting a taste of the European Talent Cup for the first time as the Australian. So despite it being a European Talent Cup, we are seeing a few riders in the series from slightly further afield. With the highest up the grid, that man there, the Australian Joel Kelso, although he does base himself in Italy now.
Yeah, it's good to see the likes of youngsters from Australia making their way over to the European ground to prove themselves. And here we see Zonta van den Goorberd, the rider from the Netherlands, best finish of 7th so far this season at Aragon.
Lovely lad is Zonta. He, if you ever get a chance to speak to him, has the best British accent you will ever hear. He was a big fan of the MotoGP eSports series. The first 2 rounds of the year we had in Massano and Aragon. He came watching both of them. And because he spent the first 6 months of his life in Monaco, he speaks absolutely perfect British, despite being from Holland. So good luck to Zonta. Meanwhile, here's the starting grid for the first of 2 European Talent Cup races, with the Brazilian Diogo Moreira starting from pole, alongside him the championship leader Izan Guevara and Daijiro Sako. Then Juan Rodriguez, Lorenzo Fallon, David Alonso, and row number 3, José Antonio Rueda, Marcos Ruda, and the first of the Brits, Fenton Seabright.
Second of the Brits is Jack Hart, leading row 4 from Joel Kelso and Zonta van den Goorberd. Daniel Munoz is on row 5 ahead of Fermín Aldeguer, the man second in the championship. Matteo Volpi, Alex Milan, Roberto Garcia and Ivan Ortola.
Going on to row 7 of the grid, Adrian Cruces, Eric Fernandez and Andreas Koffler. Row 8, Gabin Plonks, Carlos Torresillas, Marco Tapia, Mattia Falzone, Clement Rouge and Julio Garcia.
Row 10 is Dirk Geiger, the German, ahead of Julien Avila and Marco Gaggi. Filippo Merlia Palazzi, Maria Moreria and Saifeddin bin Azman, the number 63 and 33. Noah Detweiler, Sombre Gorbe and Mikkel Bulik on row 12.
On to the final row of the grid, Dean Berta, and the brilliantly named, you might be able to guess that his family like motorcycle racing, Rossi Moore. What a great name.
Love it. Never seen Rossi as a first name before, but I'm all for it.
I do hope that his family are motorcycle fans, because if he is just coincidentally called Rossi and he's a motorcycle rider, then well, it's too much of a coincidence for me to cope with. But fingers crossed, his family are big fans of the Doctor, and as a result they thought, let's not call him Valentino, let's just call him Rossi.
Yeah, a little bit of a shake-up there with his name, and like I say, I'm all for it as we now head on to the warm-up lap in perfect conditions here in Andalusia, southern Spain.
So get your pen and paper out. This is what needs to happen for Izan Guevara to wrap up the championship in race 1 of the afternoon today. First and foremost, pretty much he needs to finish inside the top 2. If he wins, Fermín Aldeguer, who starts from 14th on the grid, has to finish inside the top 7. Ivan Ortola, who starts from 18th on the grid, if Aldeguer doesn't do that, has to finish on the podium. And David Alonso, who starts from 6th on the grid, has to finish behind him in 2nd. So if he finishes 2nd, Izan Guevara, then Aldeguer has to finish 12th. Ortola has to finish 7th or higher, and Alonso has to finish 3rd or higher. As you can guess, it is quite a complicated formula to work out exactly what has to happen, and then if people crash, there's people further down the field that could still take the championship, so on and so forth. But pretty much, as you can see there, he's 58 points clear. I've got my notes in front of me. Fingers crossed it doesn't get too complicated.
Yeah, let's hope not. It sounds mega complicated and we've been through it numerous times, so let's just wait and see how it unfolds in race 1. As we say, it's a little bit unlikely, but you never know, especially in the European Talent Cup. I'm not sure what happened up at turn 5. There was a bit of gravel coming up, and we focused on Ivan Ortola, so I'm not sure what happened there. It doesn't look to be anything serious, so let's hope the track conditions are clear.
Fingers crossed. But as far as Izan Guevara is concerned, if he goes out and wins this one, then it is pretty much checkmate for him. The magic number at the end of this race is 75 points. With just another race left this afternoon here at Jerez, and then one at Albacete and one at Valencia at the final round of the year. But if he can't wrap it up in this one, then the magic number is reduced down to 50 points. As long as he leaves Jerez this evening 50 points clear of anybody else, and he's already 58 points clear, remember, he will be crowned 2019 European Talent Cup champion. But there's 15 laps of this one ahead of him, and a further 15 laps later on today. And as we've seen in the European Talent Cup, not only this year, but over years gone by as well, anything can happen. These guys get pretty feisty when it comes down to the battle for the win. But let's see if he can stay out of trouble. He won't start from pole position. That ride goes to the Brazilian Diogo Moreira, who gets a super jump, comes across the front wheel of Izan Guevara, but he's already surrounded by not one, not two, not three, but four Cuna de Campeones bikes. The orange swarming all over the rear wheel, but none of them can take second place behind Moreira. It looks as though it's David Alonso, the number 80, that comes through from row 2 of the grid to take second place. There's Guevarra on board the number 28, just coming under a little bit of tension there with one of his teammates. Difficult to determine which one's which if we can't see the number. It's definitely not Sako from the outside of the front row of the grid, so that'll probably be Juan Rodriguez that settled into third place there, is it? No, it's not. It's the number 69 of Marcos Ruda that's come through from the third row of the grid to take third.
Yeah, cracking start from Marcos Ruda and from David Alonso outside of row 2 for the number 80, but here he comes, Marcos Ruda, alongside the Spaniard into turn 6. Is he going to make a move? Yes, he is. Sweeps through nicely, but here is the championship leader. Up the inside, he's going to go into third. Yeah, nice and clean move from Izan Guevara.
Oh, big moment for the number 69 of Ruda out front. He nearly takes out his teammate Guevara. What drama that would have been. Just on the exit of Pedrosa corner, the rear wheel spits him over the top, and that's race over for Ruda, having made a super start from row 3 of the grid.
What a shame for the European Talent Cup rookie, as we now see Izan Guevara in second place and hunting pole sitter and race leader Diogo Moreira on the number 92 machine. The two have got a slight gap. I'm not sure, it looks at least half a second to the number 95 of Rueda.
Well, this is exactly what nobody else in the field wanted to see. Guevara given the opportunity just to break clear, have it comfortable. Yes, there's still, well, it's going to closely be 14 laps to go, but that error from his teammate Marcos Ruda on the opening lap has just split the gap up ever so slightly, allowing both Moreira, the pole sitter, and the man who started second on the grid, Guevara, to edge clear as they come across the line for the first time of 15 here in Jerez. Their advantage is 0.8 of a second, with Guevara, the championship leader, not for the first time this year, hitting the front. Yeah, just keep your eyes peeled further back in 9th place for Fermín Aldeguer, the number 54 rider. He is the man second in the championship, and with Guevara leading, I'm not going into the championship at this early stage, but here we go. Here's the crash for, just gets onto the curb on the outside, and fair play to David Alonso. The reason that he's just drifted ever so slightly backwards is because he just had to shut off there to avoid any contact with the number 69 of Marcos Ruda. Meanwhile, at the front, Izan Guevara leads with Diogo Moreira with him, and the pair of them are looking to break clear early on. Yeah, they are. Here comes the number 92. Is he going to retake the lead from the championship? Yes, he is. A nice, clean move. We see further back. Oh, the champion leaded wide at turn 6. Is that going to put him into the battle for second? He's a little bit clear at the minute, but that's just lost touch on the pole sitter, Diogo Moreira. Car park route from Izan Guevara, not what he was hoping. Oh, who's that in the background? The number 10 of Adrian Cruces and Fenton Seabright. Talk about the car park route, they were nearly in the gravel there, the pair of them, as they came through turns number 7 and 8. Meanwhile, at the front, after that small error from Guevara, he's got back into his rhythm, he's got his head down, glued onto the tank of that Cuna de Campeones machine, and in the space of, well, a couple of corners, he's now closed in onto the rear wheel of Diogo Moreira, so we've got ourselves a two-rider breakaway at the front of the field once again. Yeah, we have. We need to, well, the riders behind just need to settle down into the race, coming on to lap 3 now, and just focus on bridging that gap to the leaders. As we see there is that Fermín Aldeguer trying to move up the inside at the final corner. I think it was the number 54, yeah. The flash of yellow is easy to spot now. Formerly, well, it was formerly the Best of Capital Dubai squad, but now the Mugen Race team, or WWR, I don't know what we have to call them, but it's easy to spot anyway. It's Fermín Aldeguer with that bright yellow, highlighter yellow, sprayed across both left and right hand side of his bike. Fastest lap of the race, incidentally, the man currently in third, José Antonio Rueda, pushed Izan Guevara all the way last time out in the second race at Aragon, and he's looking likely to do the same once again, but he's got his teammate to possibly help him out. Can the two Estrella Galicia bikes gang up on the Cuna de Campeones machine of Izan Guevara? Yeah, Rueda's first podium last time out at Aragon, so he's hungry for more of the same, as we see the number 92, his teammate, pulling out the slipstream
and goes past Guevarra into turn 6, or does he? No, Guevarra around the outside, cracking from the championship leader. Is he going to hold it onto the curb? I think he is, because this is a left-hander, so he's got the inside line. He now continues on his way in the race lead.
Braves it out. Good riding from Izan Guevara. We saw back in Aragon a handful of absolutely superb moves coming in from the young man from Spain. One of them in particular, I think it was at turn 4 at Aragon, where he just rolled around the outside of about 2 guys ahead of him on the final lap, having taken the long lap penalty. He was just in a league of his own there, and again he looks like he's just got an edge on everyone else. Number 28 is, for his age, quite tall. He's able to muscle that bike about a little bit better than anybody else, but he does a superb riding style. He doesn't half hang off of it.
Yeah, Aragon was sort of the perfect display of just how dominant he's been in this championship, as you see the two Ángel Nieto team teammates scrapping it out, and there's Fermín Aldeguer trying to capitalise. Alonso saying stick behind me, but this is the European Talent Cup, so I don't think that is going to happen as Guevarra continues on his way in the race lead. Oh, that's about 5 abreast in turn 1. There's Aldeguer with the Leopard bike going up the inside of him. Oh, who's that? Whoa.
Oh, it's Joel Kelso that's gone down in the background. It's a handful of riders that have all gone down. Certainly the number 31 there is one of them. That's Roberto Garcia just rejoining. Was it possibly Fenton Seabright as well? Not sure exactly who it is, but certainly a big crash for Joel Kelso on the Australian, having a first European Talent Cup race as they went into turn 1 there. Meanwhile, back at the front, Izan Guevara still leads, but obviously that incident behind has really fractured the fight for 4th place, with Rueda having set the fastest lap of the race, starting to close in on a leading 2, and it looks like he's got Daijiro Sako for company as well. And those two will certainly be helped by these two scrapping it out front. Moreira just trying to push Guevarra as wide as he possibly can, but again Guevarra has the inside line as they flick left into turn 7, and he holds on to the lead. Yeah,
that was pretty much a mirror signal manoeuvre from the last lap as the top two are scrapping it out. It's just going to allow the man in 3rd place, Rueda, to hunt them down closely, as we see the number 74 of Daijiro Sako tagging onto the back of the number 95 of Rueda. What's the gap back to Rueda? It was 0.6 last time around. I think it looks a little bit further than that now, but yeah, that was a massive incident turn 1. Let's hope all the riders are up and okay. We've not got any yellow flags, so just the that bike is absolutely ruined.
Well, that's Zonda van den Gorburg there, the young Dutch rider, so he's one of them to go down. There was at least 4 riders that went down, so hopefully we'll get confirmation as they come across the line now. We'll just keep an eye on the guys that just start to flick down the pecking order. There goes the race leader Guevara across the line. Moreira still for company. Behind them in pretty much a mirror image, yet reversed, we see Estrella Galicia leading the Cuna de Campeones by Rueda, followed by Sako. So it looks like it was Fernandez, Torresias, van den Gorburg and Kelso. So those were the 4 riders, maybe a 5th as well, but they've flashed across our timing screen fairly quickly with that gaggle of riders all coming across the line at the same time. But importantly for the championship picture, Fermín Aldeguer is there in 7th, Ivan Ortola is there in 9th, and whereabouts is David Alonso? He's there in 5th, so those are the guys in 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment. So those are the guys that went down. It wasn't Joel Kelso, incidentally. It was Garcia, Fernandez, Torresias and van den Gorburg that all went down with the Leopard machine of, would that have been possibly Torresias, slightly second hand, because he was the man that, well, straight-lined it into the barriers there. So a big task ahead of the Leopard Junior squad to try and get that bike ready for race number 2. There's another of the fallers, Andreas Koffler, that's gone down, the Austrian. He wasn't in contention for the points, I don't think. So a disappointing end to race number 1 for the Austrian. Meanwhile, back at the front, it's as we were. Guevara leads. In fact, no, it's not as we were, because Daijiro Sako has now got in front of Jose Rueda in a fight for that final podium place. So it's now Guevara leading from Moreira, and then Sako leading from Rueda.
Yeah, Sako eventually making that move stick earlier on this lap, as the gap sat at 1.1 from the top 2 to the second 2, and there is David Alonso just stretching away from Fermín Aldeguer for 5th place, and that's Joel Kelso into 6th on the number 76 machine. The Leopard Racing there as Fallon pulls out of the slipstream. Can he make a move into turn 1? It looks like he might do. No, he won't. He'll sit behind the Leopard machine.
Apologies to Fenton C, right for saying he was involved in that crash. Incidentally, he's just come across the line in 13th, just ahead of his good friend and former teammate Jack Hart. The pair of them 13th and 14th out on track at the moment, fighting for a couple of points in this first European Talent Cup race. Guevarra then still leads, and as things stand at the moment, he wouldn't wrap up the championship because Aldeguer is there in 7th place. But it would mean he is, well, 74 points clear ahead of race number 2, which means that he just needs to finish 15th later on this afternoon, which makes my life a whole lot easier. But he's dropped backwards, which means that that piece of paper can be thrown out the window because it's now not 75 points. With 10 laps to go, let's worry about that on the final lap because we've got a battle for the lead on our hands. With Moreira eyeing a first victory of his own, now back ahead of Izan Guevara.
Yeah, Guevara's not going to have this all his own way here in race 1 at Jerez as the duo battle it out into turn 6. One lap it's Guevara taking the lead, the other it's Moreira, so this looks like it's going to go out to the wire, and it'll be interesting to see if Sako is bridging the gap. It looks like he's got a slight advantage on the number 95 of Rueda, heading with 10 laps to go. So as they come across the line on this lap, let's just see if the Japanese rider is going to be able to close it down.
We'll keep an eye on his lap as he comes across the line, but Sako certainly looks like he's been able to chip away at that advantage that the leading duo had. Yeah, it's pretty much nothing now. It'll be about half a second as they come across the line. The leading two separated by nothing, and Sako was 1.3 seconds adrift, now just 0.4 of a second adrift. He's pulled in 0.9 of a second on that last lap as those two at the front started to fight. Guevarra knows that his teammate is coming and taps onto the rear of his Cuna de Campeones machine. Whether Moreira will listen to him, I possibly think not, but Sako is well in the hunt for a first victory of his own here.
Yeah, we've just seen the man 4th place on the wheel, Juan Rodriguez, has just slipped down our timing screen, so it looked like he is out of the race. You see there, live championship, 69 points, so not quite enough at this stage, but we'll worry about that nearer to the end of the races. Or Guevara, sorry, is into the race lead, but are we going to see another move at turn 6 from the number 92? I bet he will have a look.
Unfortunately, our live championship pictures, unsurprisingly, can't keep up with the manner in which the two at the front are swapping places, because he'll be 69 points ahead if he finishes second. As things stand with him leading, he'll be 74 points ahead, but pretty much it will be checkmate and match point towards Izan Guevara as we head towards race 2, but he's got other things on his mind at the moment, because he thought he had only an Estrella Galicia bike to deal with in the form of Diogo Moreira, but it looks as though he's got a teammate to contend with as well, because Daijiro Sako is with them now, the number 74 Japanese rider hailing from Spain. He's onto the rear wheel of Diogo Marrero, and we've got an international affair in the European Talent Cup. A Spaniard leading a Brazilian, leading a Japanese rider with 8.5 laps remaining. Yeah,
fantastic race so far from the leading trio. Looks like Rueda can't quite hold the pace of the front guys. He's in a battle of his own for 4th place with David Alonso 5th. Where's Fermín Aldeguer? He's 7th, still behind Lorenzo Felon. But yeah, Sako is right with these leaders now. Can the number 92 though make a pass into turn 1 on your race leader and championship leader Guevara?
Now 8 laps remaining, they come across the line. We're at over half race distance. Now mistake from Guevara, the front end nearly folding on. He got it all wrong on the brakes into turn number 1, and as a result he's dropped down to 3rd place. Marrero takes control of the race with Sako now up to the 2nd, and that's the 2nd mistake we've seen today from Guevara. The first one coming down at turn number 6 earlier in the race. He managed to recover from that one. Can he recover from this mistake as well?
Yeah, that's just how quickly things can change in any motorcycle racing championship, but especially the European Talent Cup. He slips down to 3rd. It's by no means a disaster, and he'll shortly be back with the leaders, I'm sure, as Sako now looks to take the lead from the Estrella Galicia machine, and he has. What a run down into turn 6. Will the number 92 fight back? It doesn't look like he will. And that is 5th place David Alonso. Looks like he's closing in on 4th place Rueda, who incidentally, because of that mistake from your championship leader, number 28 there in 3rd place, looks like he's just edging closer to this leading trio. So maybe, just maybe, we might have a battle of 5 for the lead.
Sako leading a European Talent Cup race for the first time in his career. He has a podium to his name already from halfway through the season in Barcelona, where he, well, was quite a long way behind Izan Guevara and Aldeguer that battled lap after lap, corner after corner for the race win. This time he's in the fight for the win himself. with Moreira also in the hunt as well, eyeing a best result. He's never been inside the top 5, never mind the podium. So this is uncharted territory for the Brazilian as well. But Izan Guevara, having made that mistake, now onto the rear wheel. It's anything but uncharted territory for him, eyeing a 6th straight European Talent Cup win. And he's in a prime position to do so as well. That mistake just 1 lap ago, right here on the run into turn 1. You would have thought it may have taken him a couple of laps to recover from, but it's taken him just 1, and it's back to the status quo with him onto the rear wheel. And that battle for the lead now returning to a 6-wheeler.
Yeah, Fermín Aldeguer, the man in second champions, will see his fan club there. Nice little banner with the dog on it. He sits 6th ahead of this battle, so it looks like that's the maximum amount of points he's going to get unless something happens with the front 5. So it's important for Fermín Aldeguer to stay there with David Alonso also in the championship hunt 5th. But yeah, at the back of this you can see FIM CEV, the British rider, well in the hunt for a top 10 finish. A good ride from him so far. And you see Ortola, I love his style. He's so tall on the bike, and when he's leaning, his legs are right out. It's a fascinating riding style as we go about 4 abreast into turn 6.
Interesting tactics coming from the number 10 of Adrian Cruces then on the run down to Dani Pedrosa corner. Oh, and that looks like Alex Milan that's gone down. It is the number 23, trudges away, having crashed out. Has a podium to his name in this season so far, but he won't add another one. As we're saying about Adrian Cruces on the run down the hill towards Pedrosa corner, didn't want to make a move on Fermín Aldeguer, so both left leg and right leg were fanned out as if he was a bird flying through the air to try and slow himself down, not knowing, well, I'm sure he is aware, surely, that he's got about 5 riders queuing up behind him. But somehow, despite slowing himself down, he was able to keep them at bay as he remains in 7th place as he came across the line. Meanwhile, back at the front, here we are. There's going to be just 6 laps remaining in a couple of seconds as Daijiro Sako leads this gaggle of riders over the line. 3-way fight for the lead at the moment, but it's possibly going to become a 4-way fight for lead very shortly because Rueda is closing in and David Alonso is pushing hard behind them as well. And the reason we know he's pushing hard is exceeded track limits, and he's got a warning for it as well, so he just needs to be careful not to do it another time, otherwise a long lap penalty will be slapped upon him. Yeah,
I've noticed a few times coming out of the exit of turn 10, the stadium section, a few of them are running a bit right onto the green, so they've got to be careful they don't do that too much. He's had a warning, so next time around it will be that long lap penalty that we saw Guevarra take in Aragon, and he still managed to win the race. So hopefully for Alonso's sake it doesn't happen to him. But here we go then on the run down to turn 6, probably the most passable place on the circuit, but Sako is looking comfortable as Guevarra, his teammate, tucks into second on the run down into Dani Pedrosa corner.
Made that look easy there, did he, thank Guevarra, but he makes that look less easy as he runs wide and hands second place momentarily back to Diogo Moreira, but he's brave on the flick left into turn number 7. He's looked super quick through there all day has Izan Guevara, but as though to just battle it out, that's all it takes. A bit of a mistake from Guevara, having got ahead of Moreira, and then them two fighting it out has allowed Sako to break clear. Well, nearly half a second. It's well over 3 or 4 bike lengths now. The Japanese rider has an advantage, and that came from absolutely nothing.
Yeah, battling down at turn 6 has been Guevarra and Moreira all race. So yeah, like you say, Jack, the number 74 has got a slight advantage, but with the slipstream into full effect here, you can imagine that Guevarra and Moreira are going to close him in shortly. But yeah, it just looks like Moreira in 4th place can't quite get on the coattails of his teammate in the battle for the podium. But let's see how the last 5 laps go. Can Rueda improve? He was 4/10 slower on that lap, so it looks like he's just losing touch on the fight for the podium positions.
Half a second was Sako's advantage over the line. Guevarra certainly looks like he's got the pace to close in on his teammate, and he's trying to do so, and as a result he's dragging Moreira with him. Meanwhile, the gap between 3rd and 4th was, well, it's not really been closed in by Rueda. He's a lot further behind now than he was a lap and a half ago. We did think for a slight second we were going to have a 4-way fight for the win, but it looks as though Rueda's just about run out of steam with now 5 laps remaining.
Yeah, on the run down to turn 6, the number 92 tucked in behind the championship leader. Don't think he's going to have a look this lap. No, he's not. line astern they go around Danny Pajo's corner, but the race leader looks wide. Is that going to allow Guevarra to go through? Not quite. She's got the inside line, the number 74 for the flick left, but they are now right together for the race lead.
That one mistake costing him his advantage. It had been reduced down from half a second, but it is down to nothing now with Guevarra eyeing up a 6th win of the season, a 6th straight win, a superb 6 for the man that surely will be crowned European Talent Cup champion, especially given his form this weekend at Jerez, carrying on what we've seen from him at Valencia and Barcelona and Aragon as well. He's been the dominant force in the European Talent Cup, and he's looking to continue that here in Jerez as well.
Yeah, I just wonder if the race leader Sako will have been given any team orders in case this situation happened. Will he let Guevarra through or not? I imagine he won't because of Guevara's lead, but let's see. Is Guevarra going to move into turn 1? No, he's not quite. It looks like Sako and Guevarra have got a little bit of an edge on your third place man, 92.
He's just hanging on at the moment, is the Brazilian. He is eyeing up a debut podium finish himself, so whether that may well come into his thinking as we get into the final couple of laps, who knows? But this is the European Talent Cup. These are exuberant youths, if we can put it that way, and as a result, I think if there is an opportunity there, Moreira will certainly lunge for it. That's your live championship picture. 68 points is advantage. Fermín Aldeguer, which means he will not wrap up the championship as things stand in race number 1. That's one of the 658 Quadricorsa guys gone down. Matteo Falzone, he was just hanging on to 15th last time around, but there won't be a point added to his tally here in Jerez.
Just an update on Aldeguer's position. He still remains at the head of that group in 6th place with a whole host of riders down to 13th behind him, so it's important for Aldeguer, the Spaniard, to keep hold of that position. But talking of holding positions, it's still Sako that leads the race, and I was wrong about Moreira. It looks like he was dropping off a bit, but no, he is right onto the back of your championship leader, coming through turn 10 out of the stadium section. We're going to flick it right, then flick it right again. The number 92 all over the back of Guevarra. Is he going to make a move into the last corner as we see the Falzone crash coming up?
Just at turn 1, front end folding underneath the Italian as he gets his scooter back down to pit lane. Good work from the marshals. They were pretty quick on the mark there. But let's focus on this fight for the lead then. Sako leads them across the line now. Just 3 laps remaining in race 1 of 2 here in Jerez in the European Talent Cup, with the Japanese rider eyeing a first European Talent Cup win. Guevarra, get the pair of them mixed up, as often as I can.
It's easily done.
Eyeing a 6th win of the season, and Moreira eyeing a first win himself. So we could well have 2 debutants picking up a victory, or it could be, as we've seen, well, since the start of the season, Guevarra stood on the top step of podium once again, but he needs to be careful not to exceed track limits there. He was well onto the green on the exit of turn number 4 there, and if he continues doing that, especially as we get on to the last lap, we may see a penalty or 2 going his way. But so far, no track limits warning going the way of the championship leader. As he moves out to the strip steam, is a move coming in from Guevarra? Not yet. 2.5 laps left. He's still got time, but he's certainly eyeing up a move on Sako.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to risk anything. The number 28, he knows he's second in the race, first in the championship, clear of his rival. So any risk at this stage would just be a little bit silly. Whereas Aldeguer slips behind. Lorenzo fell on in that battle for 6, so another point lost there in the championship for the Spaniards. But this 3, it's a battle for the podium between these 3, because Rueda is now 2.3 off, as you can see there, just appearing around turn 10.
The reason we mention Aldeguer as often as we are down in 7th place is because if he loses another position and goes back to 8th, and Guevarra is able to win this race, that means that Guevarra will wrap up the championship in race 1. That is how finely poised things are as we're about to start. Just 2 laps remaining here in Jerez. The fight at the front is important, as is that fight for 6th place as well.
Yeah, across the line then, 2 laps remaining, sorry. Guevarra again shadowing a move at the inside, but not going for it. Runs a little bit wide, but it's not going to affect him that much. There is the number 54. Is he going to get passed by the man behind him? Is that Ivan Nortola? It is. Into turn 1. This every move now with 2 laps to go for Fermín Aldeguer could be crucial for the championship, as we've mentioned.
The number 54 there, 7th at the moment, looks up the inside to try take 6th but can't, and he's under all sorts of pressure from Ivan Ortola and the number 5 of Lorenzo Fallon as well. That fight is going to be crucial as we come on to the last lap, but more importantly, as is the one for the win as well, because it's all down to if Izan Guevara can pick up a 6th consecutive win as to whether he'll be crowned champion here in Jerez. There he does, makes the move for the lead. He's been watching his teammate for quite some time, and now he pounces to take the lead. 1.5 laps remaining. Does the young Spaniard feel he's got the pace to pull clear already? That group at the front is starting to fracture with Guevara pushing. Yeah,
it looks like he might have the pace to split the top 3 with 2 laps to go. Is it going to be a wrap-up for the championship, but the 74 is going to stick with him? But yeah, Moreira, it's hard to tell at this point, but we'll see coming round turn 10. There's the team anxiously looking on. Is it going to be the championship?
They now flick right into this fast section of right turns here in Jerez. There's the first one, here's the second one, and Sako's still able to live with him. And in fact, if anything, he's closed in on his teammate. He's the wrong side of him there for a move into Lorenzo corner on the penultimate time. But as we start the final lap, it's anything but settled for Izan Guevara. He's got pressure from his teammate and Diogo Moreira, who hasn't really led the race since the opening stages. Sitting there, ready to pounce, but it looks like it's going to come down to a battle between the teammates, the 2 Cuna de Campeones rider. 1 lap to go here in Jerez to settle not only the race, but quite possibly the championship as well.
Where is Fermín Aldeguer across the line? I think he sits in 7th still, so that's okay for now. No, he slipped down to 8th. Over the line, Ivan Ortola, Adrian Cruzes have got him, so he's now in 8th position.
So Aldeguer down to 8th means that the championship would be wrapped up as things stand with half a lap to go, and Guevara is making his move for the win as well. 3, 4 bike lengths clear of his teammate as they round turn number 5 for one final time. Slightly wide was Sako there. Can he get the slipstream and close in on his teammate on the run down towards Pedrosa corner? This is a vital place to try and make a move, but he's not close enough. Guevara will hold on.
Huge last half of the lap coming up for Guevara. Is he going to wrap up the 2019 European Talent Cup Championship? Let's just keep an eye on Fermín Aldeguer, still in 8th according to our timing screens, but it looks like, barring any mistakes, Guevara could have this wrapped up.
He's been so strong through there all race. Turn 7, turn 8, the fast and flowing left-hander, slightly wide through 8 though, onto the curb on the outside, just about has enough of a comfort buffer at the moment as we're into the final sector now here in Jerez. Guevara leads, he's won 5 in a row and he's eyeing a 6th straight victory and the championship as well. Can his teammates somehow find a little bit of pace in these final stages to close in and mount an attack into the Jorge Lorenzo corner? 2 corners to go. And now in towards Lorenzo corner. Guevara leads. It's the wrong side is Sako. Surely he's not going to be able to find any way around the outside. He's hard on the brakes of Guevara. Runs just about wide, but cuts the door. Slams the door shut. He's going to get the run to the flag. Sako tucks in behind him, but surely it's going to be a 6th straight victory for Izan Guevara and quite possibly the championship. Let's see where Fermín Aldeguer comes across the line. He was 8th last time around. That's a huge move. He's up to 7th. He's going to keep the championship alive, but only just. 7th at the moment is Aldeguer. Who will drag past him? Can he hold on to 7th and keep it alive? Adrian Cruzes takes 6th, and he's just lost out. Has he taken 7th? He has taken 7th. He has taken 7th. It looked as though Ortola might have just got the run to the flag. We'll have to get confirmation. On our timing screens in front of us, the pair of them were separated by 0.002 of a second, but to the naked eye, it looked as though Ortola may well have taken 7th away from Fermín Aldeguer, and that would mean he is champion, so we need to get confirmation of that one. We know one thing for sure, and that is either 74 points clear or 75 points clear. It's turning into a matter of when, not if now, for Izan Guevara, but let's just wait for the confirmed results because it was too close to call across the line between Aldeguer and Ortola before we start to put the crown and polish the European Talent Cup trophy and hand it the way of Izan Guevara. One thing we know for sure is it's 6 wins in a row for Guevara, a class above the rest. Meanwhile, a crash on the final lap down the start-finish straight involving Dean Berta and the number 53 of Michael Bulik as well. Oh, it looks as if the pair of them have had a coming together on the drag towards the flag. Berta, the closest man to your image, up onto his feet, fortunately, as Bulik just walks away. So he is okay, is Dean Berta, and hopefully Bulik will be for race number 2 as well. Meanwhile, we're still waiting. We need the photo finish. We need the photo finish to determine whether it is Aldeguer in 7-4 or Tola. 0.02 of a second on our timing screen, but it did look as though Ortola got a great run to the flag. Meanwhile, what we do know for certain, a debut European Talent Cup podium, if you put the sentence in the right order, for the Brazilian Diogo Moreira, having started from pole position, just didn't have the pace on the final lap to be able to challenge for the win, but it's a first visit to the podium for the Brazilian. And it's a best ever result for Daijiro Sako as well, having pushed his teammate all the way on that final lap. There's Fermín Aldeguer, still no confirmation yet. 7th it says, but it was super close. So if it is 7th, it will be 74 points, the gap between them. Meaning that Guevarra has just one simple task in the second race later today. Score a solitary point and the championship is yours, which, given the fact he's won the last 6 races, should be a fairly simple task for him. But there he is, celebrating a 6th consecutive victory. What a star that young man is, from Palma de Mallorca. They already have a 5-time champion in the form of Jorge Lorenzo, but this man, hailing from exactly the same place as Jorge Lorenzo, could well be another star of the future coming from that part of the world. As we said prior, in the previous 2 years of the European Talent Cup in 2017 and 2018, never before had we seen anybody put a run together of 3 straight victories, but that man has now put 6 together. Starting in Valencia, continued in Barcelona. He was forced to work for it in Aragon and has continued it here in Jerez. Domination over 4 different circuits. He has been in a league of his own this year as the Cuna de Campeones man. Pushed hard once again, though, this time by his teammate, that man there, Daijiro Sako. A good week for him, having picked up a best result in the Red Bull Rookies of 9th this time last week in Aragon. And now a best ever result in the European Talent Cup. Coming across the line just a 1/10 of a second behind his teammate Guevarra in 2nd. Further run down the order sees another of the Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team riders, Jose Rueda in 4th, a lonely 4th place in the end for him, with David Alonso in 5th aboard the Junior Ángel Nieto squad. But for the 6th time this season, he's getting quite used to these interviews. Now let's hear from the champion-to-be, Izan Guevara, after a 6th straight win in the European Talent Cup.
Izan, a 6th win in a row. How are you feeling so close to the championship now?
Yeah, incredible, the race. It's impressionant. In the battle in the group, and Diogo Moreira and Daijiro Sako, very difficult. Thanks to my team and my parents and my sponsor. No words.
Y en castellano.
Bueno, es una carrera muy difícil desde el primer momento. Hemos podido tirar un poco del grupo y nos hemos ido 3. Y bueno, ha sido una carrera muy luchada con Daijiro Sako y Diogo Moreira. Y bueno, y quiero dar las gracias a mi equipo, a mis patrocinadores y a mis padres. Y que no tengo palabras, que esto siga así.
Gracias.
It was Diogo Moreira that started the first of 2 European Talent Cup races here at Jerez from pole position, and the young Brazilian got a dynamite start, cutting across the front wheel of the championship leader Izan Guevara as he turns right into turn 1. But the championship leader, having already picked up 5 race wins in a row, just about avoided a crash from his teammate Marcos Ruda on the opening stages after the young Spaniard made a superb start from row 3 of the grid. Guevara avoided that trouble and tagged onto the rear wheel of the Brazilian as a pair of them started to break clear. A mistake into the Dani Pedrosa corner, though, saw Moreira given a slight opportunity to break clear, but Guevara is able to close in on him, and quickly that fight between two riders became three when another of the Cuna de Campeones squad, Daijiro Sako, managed to catch them and make a three-wheeler. Another mistake from Guevarra, this time into turn one, allowed Moreira and Sako to break clear, but in the space of just a lap it closed in on them once again, whilst eyeing a sixth straight victory and possibly the championship here in Jerez. Sako got his opportunity to lead, but then as Guevarra started to make up for the problems that he had halfway through the race, he picked off first Moreira as one of the 658 Squadra Corsa guys crashed out to the podium hunt. Further behind, Fermín Aldeguer had to finish inside the top 7 to keep the championship alive, and he really was pressured to do so. But on the final lap, despite Sako looking for a move up the inside, Guevarra held on for a superb 6th straight win in the European Talent Cup. And that move from Fermín Aldeguer there on the run down to the flag, he held off Ivan Ortola as well to take 7th place, and in doing so keep the championship alive, but only just. He needs just a point later on this afternoon to be crowned the 2019 European Talent Cup champion.
Fuerte aplauso para los integrantes del podium.
So race direction, just handing a penalty the way of the number 74 of Daijiro Sako on the final lap. So that will mean there's a change to the podium. Diogo Moreira will be promoted up to 2nd, as we see there, and Sako to 3rd as well. So I'm not sure where that track limits infraction actually happened. Didn't spot it, must have been a marginal one, but unfortunately for Sako, it's not a best ever finish in the European Talent Cup for him. Instead, he matches the 3rd place he picked up in Barcelona, and Moreira picks up the 20 points. But one thing that is for certain is that for the 6th time in a row, he's getting quite used to standing on that top step of the podium. Is the number 28 of Izan Guevara. So they must not have told these guys before they went out onto the podium, but unfortunately, Daijiro Sako will have to swap trophy. Oh no, they have done it right. There we go, we get it right. It is Sako that picks up the 3rd place. The thing that just confused me there is the slightly diminutive stature of Diogo Moreira. Made it look like he was on the place below. But there he is, stood above everybody else for the 6th time in a row. As he said, simply no words. What else can be said about that man? Izan Guevara now just 1 point away from the 2019 European Talent Cup champion. And it looks as though Repsol are fed up of giving money to him, so instead the €500 fuel check goes the way of Diogo Moreira.
Yeah, not sure about that, but
there we go. And for the 6th time in a row, the Spanish national anthem for Guevarra.
El aplauso para ellos. Cuna de Campeones con Gonzalo Gobert, Daijiro Sako, Diogo Moreira, Izan Guevara. Las autoridades se retiran y evidentemente la foto en lo alto del cajón se hace protagonista.
The championship leader now 1 point away from the European Talent Cup in 2019. Two Cuna de Campeones riders on the podium. Sako, his 2nd of the season. And as we've said, Guevarra getting used to that top step, 6 in a row now. Absolutely sensational from the 15-year-old. As they now get ready to spray the bubbly water, they'll go dry off and get set for race 2. Moreira getting Guevarra in the face there, trying to do all he can to stop him from winning a 7th in a row. He is unstoppable though. Guevarra now just 1 point away from the 2019 European Talent Cup Championship. What a season. the Spaniard has. Nice to see plenty of fans here on a beautiful day in Andalusia. Temperature getting up to the higher end of the 20s, so nice and hot conditions for the riders as we get ready for the Moto2 European Championship coming shortly. Edgar Pons on pole for that one, the championship leader. No, sorry, I'm used to saying he's on pole because this is the first time Edgar Pons isn't on pole in a while, but here we go. Replay of the European Talent Cup races. Guevarra set his sights on a 6th race win in that battle for the podium with teammate Sako, and 3rd place man there in your picture, Moreira, but he would eventually move up to 2nd thanks to a penalty to Sako.
And incidentally as well, as we assumed, Ivan Ortola has been handed on our timing screens 7th place. And with Fermín Aldeguer coming across the line in 8th, that change, although just a point, would mean that Guevarra has wrapped up the championship. The pair would be locked, or sorry, the pair would be separated by 75 points, with 75 still available, but with just now 3 races remaining. Even if Aldeguer is to win all 3 of those races, he would have just 3 victories to his name instead of the 6 for Guevarra. So on count back, it would be Guevarra's championship. So we'll have to get confirmation of that. But pretty much what we can say for absolute certain is, barring disaster in race 2 later on today, Izan Guevara will be crowned champion. But for my reckoning, as a result of that change, and Ortola taking 7th ahead of Aldeguer by 0.02 of a second, Izan Guevara has wrapped up the championship in that race.
It certainly did look like, as you say, Jack, that Ortola did nick it on the line, and yeah, that late change. We'll wait for absolute confirmation, but it does seem that Guevarra has wrapped up the 2019 European Talent Cup.
That's what our timing screens tell us anyway. We'll get the official results in a few minutes' time once they have been confirmed, but it was a matter of when, not if, anyway, for Guevarra. He has been a class above the rest in 2019, whether it's 74 points, 75 points. It means very little. What we do know for a fact is the Cuna de Campeones squad will be having quite the fiesta this evening.
Certainly will. Excellent result, the double podium, and they've still got another race to come as the fans bask in the Andalusian heat here on a fine Sunday in September at the Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto. And as I said, we are getting set for the only European Moto2 race of the day, where it's Hector Garzo on pole. And as I said, Edgar Pons starts off pole since, is it Barcelona last year?
It is, yeah. To be absolutely precise, Elliot, it is the first time in 477 days that Edgar Pons will not start a European Moto2 race from pole position. Yes, you heard that correct. 477 days. Quite impressive.
Yeah, well, what was he playing at? Right, front yesterday, 3rd place.
Didn't pull his finger out yesterday.
Absolutely terrible.
And instead we'll start from the front row, instead outside of it in 3rd place. So that's what we've got on the bill next. Moto2 action, then another Junior World Championship race, and we'll have another bit of European Talent Cup action coming your way before we finalise things here in Jerez. So don't go anywhere, there's plenty of action still coming your way, with the Moto2 boys getting a chance to fight under the sunshine here in Jerez in a few moments' time.